This is Office Talk with Annette Stepanian. Hey there, thanks for joining me for another episode of Office Talk. Before we dive into this week's Legal Quickie episode, just want to give a huge thank you to those of you who have gone ahead and filled out the survey that I sent out about a week or two ago. It has been so enlightening, and I'm excited to share all the things that I'm learning about you and what your needs are, and bring that into the show as well as into the programs and content that I create over on my website. If you haven't had a chance to fill out the survey, I still would love to hear from you. You can always send me an email, or you can take the survey over at AnnetteStepanian.com/tell me. And so that's one word, TELLME. So thanks in advance if you take the time to do that. Today I'm answering a listener question that came in from Christian, and he asks, I wanted to know if you're able to have multiple companies under one LLC, and if that's a good way to go. I want to have my own company for freelance projects, but I also want to have a social media marketing agency as another. Christian, this is a fantastic question, and you'd be surprised how often I get asked this. And it's probably because there are so many multi-passionate entrepreneurs out there who are wearing so many different hats and have so many different talents, and they are constantly thinking of that next idea. And the question becomes, how do we formalize this into a legal entity that works for you and your businesses? Christian, the short answer to your question is yes, but this is the law, and very rarely are there simple answers to any question. There are a few things that I want you to consider before you go out and you file all these DBAs for all these amazing ideas that you have and then house them under one LLC. The first is, what is the impact on your accounting and bookkeeping? Although there's no reason you couldn't open two DBAs under a single business entity, doing so might present an accounting and bookkeeping nightmare, because now you have two sets of books that you need to keep up with. And keep in mind that although you have two DBAs and two businesses, in the eyes of the IRS, you're still operating a single venture, which means that it may make it difficult to claim losses from one DBA or one business if the other DBA is showing a profit. Second, what is the potential risk for liability in each line of business? So the more similar the line of business for each DBA, the more likely it is that the types of risks are the same. In your example, you said that you want to run a freelance business alongside a marketing agency business. I'm going to assume that your freelance work is something maybe in the realm of marketing. Maybe it's graphic design, maybe it's consulting, maybe it's photography. If so, in my mind, those two potentially have the same types of risks, and so they're kind of the same flavors, so to speak. However, let's say you also wanted to start a cupcake business. In my mind, the cupcake business and then your marketing agency, well, those have two completely flavors of risk. The cupcake business, you're selling food, maybe you have a storefront, there's a lot of potential for risk and liability there. Whereas with your marketing agency, the types of risks that you're going to be seeing are maybe contract disputes or things of that nature. So I want you to think about, are the different businesses such that they're kind of the same flavor so that they're facing the same potential risks? Because remember, any liability incurred by one DBA will then be imputed to the other in light of the fact that they are essentially functioning under one umbrella entity. And finally, will I want to sell one of the DBAs in the future? Oftentimes, we don't really think about our exit strategy, right? We just go into work because it's our livelihood, this is what we do, and we create a business around it. However, I want you to think about your exit strategy, because if you have multiple DBAs under one LLC, technically you can't sell off one DBA and then keep the other. They are all one entity. So if that is in your plans, or you can anticipate that coming up in the future, you want to find a way to carve out that one business that you intend to sell out, and keeping it under one entity is probably not going to work. Okay, Christian, I hope this has been helpful in answering your question about whether or not you can have multiple businesses under one entity. If you want access to these questions, maybe you're driving and you want them written down so you can review them and think through them, I've created a cheat sheet for you available over in the show notes at AnnetteStepanian.com/podcast/22. If you have a question that you've been mulling over, whether it's about law or business, You can head on over to the show notes and submit a question for me that I'll answer in a future Legal Quickie episode. With that said, I hope you are having a fantastic day, and I can't wait to talk to you later.